everyone. Welcome back to Concept Being, where the intention is well. My name is Jade,
And I'm Aileen.
and we are your hosts for today's episode. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for coming to hang with us. So, we are going to start off with one of our segments, which is our well being moment. I am bursting to know what Aileen's well-being moment is. So, well-being
I'm
moment,
intrigued
go
to know
ahead, share it.
yours.
No,
Okay.
you go first. I want to hear yours.
Well-being moment. So this week I have decided that I was going to eat healthy.
Mm,
And it's more of like intuitive eating, right? So it's really eating healthy foods instead of like, listen, Super Bowl Sunday got me. So I was like, no, we're going to be good this week. So I've really been I someone recommended this program and I actually really like it. It's called Gina Libby, and it's really listening to your body in what you need to eat, and it gives you like different time frames of when you should eat stuff, and it's like the best time of the day to eat those certain foods. So like for instance, in the morning, you have like a healthy breakfast and it's you want to make sure it has some sort of protein in it. And then after that, you'll have a piece of fruit like a few hours later. And then you'll have your lunch, which you want to make sure you have veggies in that. And then you can have, what is it called? A raw veggie snack.
hmm
Then you have some nuts. And then you have your dinner, which is more focused on protein again. But I've noticed like I feel really good. Like when I've been eating like that, I was like, oh, I have more energy, I feel better, and it's hard to keep track of the times and everything, but I feel like I've made kind of a connection with healthy eating and then how you feel. And it's crazy because if you eat junk food or bad foods, I love it. Let's be honest. I have the biggest sweet tooth there is.
hmm
But eating this way, I don't crave sweet things anymore. Because let's be honest, like today's Friday and I'm tired. It's been a long work week. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have some M&Ms because I saw some at my
hmm
house. So I ate an M&M and M and I was like, this is gross. I don't even want this.
Wait, what color M&M did you eat? I just want to know. I'm curious.
It was a brown one.
Okay. All right. So we've all seen the Jennifer Lopez movie then, where,
Of course.
okay, great. Okay. Just making
That's a
sure.
great movie right there.
Top
I think
tier.
I was
And
obsessed.
he was spot on with like, it makes sense to me in my head. Like I too would also eat the brown one because there's less dyes. I really don't get down with dyes like in foods. So it makes sense that he was like, I only eat the brown one. So that's why I asked what color you ate.
You
Continue.
want to hear something funny about that though?
I
A
do.
random note. My team from Asia came to visit last week,
hmm
and there's apparently a book club that all the leadership is a part of. And they were talking about how I believe it's Van Halen. He would have like a crazy request when they would like sign a contract, and it said like there had to be a bowl of M&Ms with no brown M&Ms. And
Fascinating.
yes, but you know why he did it?
No,
To
why?
see if people paid attention to what his contract said because it was such a minor detail, right? And
hmm
he did it for the safety purposes, right? Because it said like you got to check the sound stage, you got to do all this stuff, right? And he automatically knew if he walked into the venue and saw that there was a bowl of just um M&Ms. I don't remember if it was just brown M&Ms or take out the brown M&Ms, something like that,
hmm
and he would automatically know if they read every single detail of his contract or not. And in the contract, it said if they did not follow everything, he could cancel. And he did it because one time the bowl of M&Ms was wrong. And I was like, that's so crazy. And it reminded me of that Jennifer Lopez movie of the
You know
M&Ms when they were
what?
talking about it.
That is so interesting because I always hear about like celebrities with their like, requests for when they go onto a show or something like that, or like when they're performing. So now that like kind of gives me a different perspective is like maybe they're super picky about things because they're like testing you a little bit. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I thought it was super, super interesting. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Because then I know we're getting a little off topic,
We
but
are, but it's fine. It's our podcast. We could do what we want. It's all right.
and so it's funny because then like the VP that I report up into, he was saying, like, for instance, a safety thing, right? And you hear it all the time is use the handrail when you're using the stairs,
Hmm.
right? So he said his prior boss told everyone use the handrail. And so when he would go visit a site and he would automatically know if the site was following safety things or not. It was a quick reference for him and saying like, okay, are the employees using the handrails? Is the management using the handrails? Right? And everyone
Hmm.
was like, what the heck? Like, why does he want to use handrails? Why is he so anal about that? Right? But it
Hmm.
was this quick thing. And so like our VP was telling us like they're required to do like safety walks as they visit other sites if you're like in if you're higher up in the company, right?
Hmm.
So something that he realized was some of the sites don't hand him the paper to do the walk, and he's like, "That's my check, right?" And so now I have a different perspective on things. I was like, "Oh wow!" Like everyone has a certain check on how to grasp something, right? So
Hmm.
like I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like I like you said, it gave me a whole different perspective on it. Especially when he was talking about the M&M thing, and then how people would say like, "Oh, this is an expectation I have," and sometimes it might be the smallest, most ridiculous thing, or things that we don't think are that important, but it's an easy grasp for someone to tell something about you, whether you're detail-oriented or not, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's kinda cool."
I'm just gonna be so for real right now.
Yes.
Because why not? Two things came to mind when you're like telling me this. One is that like testing people, I don't like when you test someone, you're kind of like you're playing with fire a little bit. Because if I find out that someone's testing me, I don't like that. Like I'm like, don't test me because I'm a fail. Like immediately. That's just what it is. Like I'm like, why are you testing me? Just like tell me what you want instead of like kind of jumping around and like kind of playing coy about it and stuff like that. So that was like
Mhm.
the first thing where I was just like interesting because I think if I would have found that out about someone like they're like, "Oh, we just like put this in here to test you." I'd be like, "Okay, well that's annoying." Um because I failed, but that might be it. So that's probably why that came
Yeah,
to
yeah.
mind. Um
Interesting.
yeah, and the second thing is like I don't really know that that's good for like if I was on the other side of it, like if I'm the person that's like, "Oh, let me put this little." It's almost a little bit sneaky. And so like I found just like in my life when I do try to test people, it's
Mhm.
really not good for me cuz then I'm disappointed as well cuz I'm testing people and usually when you test people, sometimes they fail. So I don't know, I mean, I get it as like an artist and stuff like that, as like, make sure that everyone's following the proper precautions, but like in life, I don't really know about testing people. Like I've actually learned my lesson about testing people sometimes where I'm just like, you know what? Let me stop testing people because it's not really going great for me or them.
Right, right.
But I don't know. Have you had that like similar experience where like people test you and you're just like, I'm over it. Like,
Um
why would you test me like that?
I think it depends, right? It depends on the way someone comes at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think I get put off if, like, I go and ask a question or I'm, like, for instance, on a walk or something at a job site and someone will ask me a question and I don't know it. I think I'm a little put off and I get a little nervous about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I do it also with people that I support, right? And like, for instance, this week I was at one of our sites and I was walking and I was like, "Hey, do you wash your vehicles like here on
Mm-hmm.
property?" I already know the regulation in my head and what we should be doing, right? They don't know why I'm asking this. And
Mm-hmm.
he's just like trying to answer the question. So I think for me, I do it unknowingly because I'm trying to figure out what they're doing and if it matches regulations and stuff, but I don't do it in an intimidating way.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I were in leadership, such as a VP, I would know our documents, right? And then start noticing like a very simple one, right? Like hold the handrail, right?
Yeah. I
If
hated that
I,
handrail rule. Like we had that at one of my oh my God. I thought that was the wackest thing ever. It was like if I want to fall, let me fall. Like
yeah,
I can't walk and like text at the same time. Every time I touch a handrail, I feel like that handrail thing was before COVID, to be honest with you. Now, if you tell me to touch a handrail, I'm like, so you hate me? You want me to die? That's fine. Okay. That's fine. Like, I feel like that's an outdated thing. Like, you can't force someone to touch. I don't want to touch common areas, but I mean, continue. This
yeah.
is, we need to reel it back in. We went on a whole side.
I
It's
know.
fine.
We
It's
did, we
fine.
did.
It's all right.
But I feel like when you're in a certain position, you need to get a quick grasp on something to see if someone is detailed oriented or not. If
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair game if you announce it to everyone.
Okay.
So if I come out and I'm like, "Hey everyone, I only want you to wear pink on Wednesdays."
Okay, mean
Right?
girl. Okay, Regina. Yes, ma'am.
Right? And if I tell everyone that,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's like, "Okay, we'll do it. We're gonna do it. It's gonna better this or that," right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not gonna be that, but for an example, if I come out and tell everyone you should be doing that, or this is my expectation, then I think it's fair game to go out and look for it. Because I've announced it, I told you we all agreed, right? And
Yeah.
then it's gonna give me, is this person listening to me? Is this person like following the rules or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll give me a quick grasp on the culture of that workplace or that site, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that aspect of it, but if I don't like the aspect, like if someone doesn't know, to just grill them with questions.
Yeah. And I
They don't
think,
know.
yeah, that is I totally understand it from your perspective, 100%, where it's like if you should know it and if it was out there, you should definitely know. But I think I usually, and this is just in my experience, like have experienced like people testing me where it's just like, what are you doing? Like, where are you going with this? Why are you asking me all
Right.
these questions type of situation? And then I get defensive because I'm like, why? To be honest with you, there's like, it depends on the subject, but like sometimes I'll know that they're testing me and then I just get annoyed that you're testing me.
Hmm.
So it could go either way. But
I agree.
I've learned, not to test people for my well-being. And that's okay. That's
Okay,
okay.
let's
Yes.
reel it back in. What is your well-being moment?
My well-being moment. Okay, lovely. Way to bring it back. My well-being moment for the week since we've talked. So I've been doing candlelit yoga in my
Ooh,
apartment. Yes, it is very vibey and I love it. I've been trying to like get back into yoga. I'm like maybe like I want to say like maybe like 60% done with like my yoga instructor training. And but
okay.
for a second, it was like really difficult for me to connect with yoga. And that's a whole different story that has to do with like the certification program that I'm going through. Whatever. But I'm like, okay, Jade, you need to finish this because like you should be able to move on and like do the type of yoga that you connect with. And so like just finish the program so you can move on. And so I've learned that I really connect with getting gifts and like setting a mood and like I need like a positive like reward for something. Like if I want something, it helps to have a positive reward. And like having like this like candlelit yoga session at like 6 p.m. and then like going to take a shower and then going to bed is such a vibe. So that is my well-being moment. I like
I
will
love it.
listen to music. Ooh, this is so random. Don't judge me, but whatever. In yoga, it's really important, like that. No, I guess it depends on the yoga instructor. But for me, I just want to make sure that, like, whoever would be around, they would feel comfortable with, like, the music that's playing. And so I've been really into, are you ready? I feel like I need a drum roll. Like, I need to, I've
Drum
been
roll,
listening.
please.
Drum roll, please. So I've been listening to the Bridgerton soundtrack because it's like all
Mm.
instrumentals, but it's like calm, but it's like still like cool and upbeat. Like I feel like it's a vibe. So that's what I listen
I
to.
love that. I want to listen to it now. And
First
also,
season is the best one, I feel like. I feel like the first season of the soundtrack is the best one because they have like Thank You Next and like that's hot.
I love that. I'm gonna start listening to it as my background music for work.
You should.
Also, I'm very proud of you for doing this program.
Thank you.
Because I remember when we were living close to each other, you're like, I'm gonna do it. And I remember you signing up and all of that stuff. And I think it's awesome that you're actually doing that. And I think we need a whole episode on this. But let's stay on track
Yes,
now.
we will. I will give y'all a full episode on my yoga journey. And maybe we can do like a what is yoga type of situation series. That could be
Hmm.
very interesting. But Aileen, can you feel what's coming next? Like, do you know what I'm gonna say next? I just want to know.
Do I know what you're gonna say next?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about intuition
Oh
because
my
you want to know how
God.
I feel.
We are going to talk about intuition. So this episode is about intuition, even though, we have gone on some side conversations. We are talking about intuition. And Aileen, I feel like your intuition is top notch. So before we talk about your intuition, let's talk about what intuition is in general. So intuition is a form of unconscious knowledge or understanding that is not based on conscious reasoning or analysis. It is often described as a gut feeling, a hunch, or a sense of knowing that comes from deep within without any obvious or rational basis. So, Aileen, my first question to you is, do you feel like you are an intuitive person?
I feel like I am now, but when I
Okay.
first started learning what it was and how to do it, and I didn't feel like I was then.
Okay.
But I think you're spot on the definition. I think of it as like your gut feeling, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, my gut feeling, like, what do you like? I never really thought about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, sometimes you're like, oh, this is a bad idea. I probably shouldn't do it, like when we're younger, right?
Right.
But I find it to be an amazing tool for just reassurance for myself because I'm the type of person that overthinks things 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll make a decision, and if I don't know 100%, I'm like, "Oh my god, did I make the right decision? Is this something I should do?" And I question it, right? And I think there's a lot of different, methods for intuition, 100%. The one I just ask myself a yes or a no question, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how I kinda handle it. So, I'll tell you a situation of well, I was still living in Northern California at the time, and I was looking for a new job. I was unhappy with the one I had up there. I was tired of working a lot, and I was like, this isn't gonna work. So, and I also felt like I wasn't making a difference, and I was like, whatever. So I started applying to different jobs, right? And I got a job offer, and it was gonna take me back down to Southern California, and I was like, this is it. This is it. And like I knew that it wasn't the right job, but they offered me the money I wanted. They It was gonna bring me back down to Southern California, and, like, they were even offering me more than what I was making up there and all this stuff, and I would have a friend there. And I remember talking to my friend, and she was like, "Hey, no hard feelings. If you don't want this job, don't take it. Don't feel pressured because of me." Right? And I really, like, liked the actual guy I would report to. He was nice and all this stuff, but for some like, I knew that wasn't the job for me, right? And I kept questioning it, and I was like, "Well, I got this job offer," and it was, like, the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, the way I kind of get my gut feeling and kinda get clarity is I take 3 deep breaths, and I ask myself, like, "Should I take this job?" And you like within the first seconds, I hear yes or no, right? And
Mm-hmm.
those first 3 seconds is not like your ego or anything, right? It's really just your gut, right? And I did it for that job, and I remember like I thought it was weird in the interview that not everyone turned on their camera, and everything else was fine though. Like the place was fine, and it was like an aerospace and all this stuff. And I was like, but I did it, and I I felt like it was a no, and I was like, okay, like this isn't for me. And I still questioned myself. And I remember telling one of my friends, and she's like, she put it in the simplest terms of not to question your intuition, right? Or your gut feeling. Because I knew it was a no. And I was like, no, like, I don't know. Should I take it? Should I not? And like, I kept going back and forth, back and forth. And she's like, listen, Aileen. She's like, imagine you found your dream guy, and his name is Bob Smith. Okay. And then, Bob Smith is there, right? He's out there somewhere. You've already seen him, he's out there. But Pedro Sanchez comes up to you, and
Stop.
he's
Pause.
here.
Okay, keep going. You have
This
to
is
name him Pedro. Okay, keep going.
this is what she said, exactly what
Okay.
she said to me, okay? And then she's like, "But Bob's out there, right? But Pedro just came into your life, and he's all right? But he's no Bob. Are you gonna settle for Pedro, or are you gonna wait for Bob?" And I said, "You right, girl." And so I said, "F you, Pedro. I'm gonna wait for Bob." And guess what? I got another job offer that was better.
Oh, I
And
thought you were gonna say I found Bob. I really thought that that's how
oh,
you're
I
gonna like,
found Bob at my job.
yeah.
So it was very, very and I think it's you just have to practice it, right? And you just know. Like, and you won't doubt yourself anymore. But the thing is like really clear your mind, and whatever you hear in the first 3 seconds, that's your answer, and don't doubt it. Because I think when you first start doing it, you doubt it. I did.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, I don't doubt it anymore. Like I tell you, I just ask a yes or no question, and you just know. And I just hear yes or no. And I'm like, okay, that's it. And same like even with this job, like I'll tell you, it was a rough last 2 weeks for sure. And the company's not doing well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like we all found out that no one was getting a bonus this year. I was like, what
Aw.
the heck? And then there's talk of layoffs, and then they're forcing everyone to go back to the office, which
Whack.
is, yeah,
Whack. It's
right.
ghetto, in my opinion. No
And
one
I was,
asked, but that's the truth. That is my truth. You know what? This is not about this. Anyways, keep going. Go ahead. But yeah, whack.
but everyone's gonna be mad, right? If there
100%.
are, there's talks that layoffs are coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been announced or anything, but because of that, like everyone is like, what the heck is going on, right? And people are mad. And I remember like I was driving home, and I was like just having my usual conversation with the big man upstairs, and I was like, "Hey, like is this like was this a right choice? Like is this where I need to stay?
Mm-hmm.
Like am I supposed to be here and doing this?" And like the weird thing is, even though I get frustrated, it's a lot, and I'm like, "What the heck is happening?" My gut tells me, yes, I'm supposed to be there, but mostly,
Can I just say I feel like there's not a wrong decision. Like either way, you could have stayed in where I am, or you could have moved to the south, and that's what you did. But I don't think there's like a wrong decision or a right decision. Like I think as long as you learn something from whatever experience that you have, then it was not a waste of time.
I
So
agree 100%.
yeah, like I don't I don't want you to think like, oh, I made the wrong decision. I shouldn't have left my previous job. Like, I think it's something in you told you that you needed to go. It's on your journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's probably something that you needed to learn from that space that you needed to be there for, or like maybe you needed to be there for your family, or like, like there's
Mhm.
something. As long as you get something from the experience, then I don't ever feel like it was a waste of time or like you did the wrong thing. Like, I really don't think that you can make the wrong decision. I really don't feel that way.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying, honestly. Like, I think we've had this conversation before is no matter where we are in life, where life takes us, every single experience that we have, we're either learning something, we're helping somebody else, we're put into that situation for a reason,
Mhm.
right? It's really what you get out of it. I think it comes to when I'm frustrated or aggravated with something, that's when I start questioning, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's where your intuition really plays a role, right? And so that's where I was like, okay, like, and I think it's just like comforting because you're like, okay, I'm supposed to be here, or no, I'm not gonna settle for Pedro and I'm gonna wait for Bob, right? So
I
different
just
things like that.
wish your coworker would have chose a hotter name because Bob is not doing it for me. Like, Bob is not hot. Like, we
What
couldn't
is
have.
what is my guy's name when we were in
Um,
Big Sur?
I'm like trying to remember, but like Bob is not the name. Like that, I'm so sorry. Like, Bob's not it. I like give me like a James, like something like a Bob is just so like that. Oh, oh. Anyways, yeah, keep going. I'm listening.
It's
We're
okay.
listening. We're all listening.
Sorry about the name choice. I'll
No,
take it up with her and let her
it's
know her
okay.
name
It's okay.
choices were not good.
It's okay. It's all right.
But overall, I think it really helps and you just need to trust it. And I highly recommend that everyone practice it here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Jade, you do something intuitively a little bit different. I remember it's the way you lean or something like you, right?
I don't really share it with anyone, but I did show it to Aileen one time when I was wine drunk. So I'm gonna explain it to y'all. I don't know where did I get this from? Obviously, I got this from TikTok. That's the only place that I would find this.
But the funny thing, Jade, is like
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a common practice.
Is
And
it?
I've seen that as well as the thing with the arms.
What's
Like
the
you
thing with
ask
the arms?
a question
Mm-hmm.
and you hold your arms up like in front of you
Mm-hmm.
and like at your chest height, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your like elbows bend in so your hands are right in front of your chest.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ask a question and you have like resistance, right?
Yeah.
And as you push down on either side, like you'll ask a yes or no question and say you push down on your left and you still have resistance. Then you push down on your right and it just falls down and you have like you don't have that resistance anymore. That means that one you go with that side and your right means yes and your left means no.
You can't see me, but I literally have my arms up like I'm about to do like the chicken dance right now. But I didn't know that. I thought I was crazy, but I'll explain my version because I feel like that's very similar. So mine
Yeah.
is just, okay, so stand up. If you're listening right now, stand up. And you have to calibrate yourself a little bit, like the way that you would do with like a tool. So, or what is it? An apparatus, if you will. Um, and so I usually like will lean forward for yes. And if I lean back, it means no. And that's just telling the universe, like, yes means forward, no means back. Okay. And then I will ask a question that I need an answer to. So I will ask, Jade, are you the cutest girl in the world? And I'll just stand there. I literally just stand there. And some force, I don't know what it is, will either push you forward or back. And like, I swear to, I promise you, I don't move. Like, this is not like, it's not a voluntary move. It's like, what is that? What is the music video with Michael Jackson where he's like leaning? What is that one? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I don't know what it's called.
Dang, that's crazy. But basically, like, I will lean so far forward or so far back that it's like the answer is so clear. And I don't know that I don't know that that's necessarily my intuition as much as that's like a sign. I don't know, whatever. But I take it as both. Like I'm like it's being communicated through my body. So I will take that as a gut feeling. But
Yeah, and I
that
think
that
everyone will resonate differently, right? So
mhm,
I think everyone should try the different methods and see what works for you and let us know. I'm curious now if your method,
100%.
they like yours better, mine, or even the arm thing, right?
Yeah. I want to know like and if there's other ways that you find that are helpful to connecting to your intuition because I'm still learning. I
I think we both are. We should
yeah,
try out new methods.
we really should. We really should know like cuz that like leaning method, that one helps, but it's like I need to like like give me another one. You know, it's important to have things in your back pocket.
Yeah, and I feel like people resonate to different things. Like for me, I'm an auditory learner. I'm very
Mhm.
big on like hearing things for some reason. So like for
Wow.
me, I have to hear it. So that's why for me, it's like when I ask the question and I'm calm, I hear yes or no.
Mhm.
And another thing is I think like the right ear, like if you hear a sound, the right is yes and the left is no, is what I've read.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, we should look this up and try
I
different
find that
things.
so interesting because I feel like people, well, I guess maybe not people, but I guess the people that I'm normally around are like visual learners. I'm also like a visual learner. Like you could talk to me as much as you want until I see like a graphic or until I experience it. Like I usually have to do things and like experience it hands on in order for me to understand the concept. And I guess that kind of makes sense
Interesting.
why, right? No, like I'm like putting two and two together. Like I guess that kind of makes sense where like I usually need to experience something or like do the task for myself to be able to understand the concept. And so like I feel it in my body. And so I think it's interesting that the way that I would feel my intuition would like be like a feeling in my body. Like I need to be able to like move forward or back in order for me to like grasp this is a yes or this is a no. Wow. Okay. So I love that. All right. So my next question, and I feel like this can be our last question, is has strengthening your intuition helped your overall well-being?
Yeah, I think it absolutely has. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm an overthinker, right? To the point that I would overthink things and I couldn't sleep at night and I would constantly be thinking about it. I'd wake up worried and I wouldn't want to do certain things. So I was worried about it. And I think having more of a grasp on intuition has kind of calmed that, right? So I don't have the overthinking issue anymore. It is what it is, right? And
Hmm.
so if I overthink something, I can come back and instead of overthinking if I did something right or wrong, right? I asked my intuition, maybe I did do something wrong, right? It's like, yeah, girl, you messed up. Then I should put on my big girl pants and go and apologize, right? Or instead of overthinking, should I take this job? Should I not? Should I do this? Should I not? Right? This has given me the sense of like calmness, which I think has really improved my sleep
Hmm.
overall. And two, it's like I have more of a sense of peace now instead of being so high strung and like worried about things. And now it's more of like, it is what it is. I'm gonna go with the flow. That's it. So, yes. What about you?
I love that. I think I'm still working on it, but I do think being able to trust myself and trust my intuition, because to be honest with you, I think like we all have like a gut feeling, but I think I was just used to ignoring it and like
Hmm.
overpowering it. Like I'd be like, oh no, that's not right because so and so said this, like type of situation. Being able to like trust myself and trust my feelings has been something that I've been working on for a really long time, to be honest with you. And now that I'm kind of seeing like things are kind of like, blossoming and I'm like, okay, I can trust myself. And look, you trusted yourself and you were right type of situation. This is what I work on all the time in therapy where I'm like, I did this and I was right. And she's like, see, you can trust yourself. And I'm like, okay, it makes me feel like I know myself, which is so important. Like, I didn't realize how much I didn't know myself until I started to get to know myself. So I think it does make me happier, and like my overall well-being is like it is, I feel like it has increased a bit because I can trust myself. And I think in well-being there's other like there's other branches
Mhm.
of well-being other than like spirituality, right? Like we're just focused on spirituality right now, but like example is like, can I trust my mental health? Like, can
Yeah.
I is something that I was working on. It's like, okay, let's say things do get kind of rowdy, and they do, and they are right now. I will not lie to you. Um, I trust my intuition. I trust myself. Like, I know everything's okay in like the physical world. Everything's
Mhm.
fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can trust myself, and my intuition is telling me like everything's fine. I know I'm just like in a heightened state right now, and that's okay, but everything's going to like calm back down soon. So it's like being able to trust myself has really like is honestly the biggest flex of like 2023. I'm gonna be so for real. Like there's no other way for me to put it. Like being able to trust myself is beautiful, and
Mhm.
I don't know. There's something I would wish for everyone is to be able to trust themselves and be able to listen to their intuition and know that like when your intuition is coming through, like just listen to it. Even if it sounds weird, I don't know, like sometimes it takes a minute, but even if it feels a little bit weird, like just go with it. But I think it has increased my overall well-being, and it's been really good for like my mental health journey as well. So yes, intuition,
Okay.
that's my girl. That's my girl. So
Mhm.
that's
Think as you continue to build your intuition and become more comfortable, you're just gonna trust yourself 100%.
hmm. And it's beautiful too. Like whenever I trust myself, like only good things come from it. Like every
Uh-huh.
time I've been like, oh, I trusted myself on that. I went with what my gut told me. Only good things happened. Like truly, honestly.
100%.
Or like I avoided something really crazy type of situation. Like where I'm just like, wow, I'm so glad that I listened to myself. If I would have gone against myself, I would have been so disappointed. And I
Yeah.
think that's also something that was also something that I dealt with, where it was like when I went against myself and against my intuition, things were not great. Like things were kind of sad and drab and not hot. So
And I feel like
I,
everyone feels that
mm-hmm,
because,
you
like,
know,
my
you know,
dad is, like, not into this at all. My dad is
mm-hmm,
old school. He's, like, whatever about it, right? I remember my dad had a really bad car accident,
mm-hmm,
before we were born, or the kids were born, and I remember asking him, like, "Why did you" like, what happened was he was on a motorcycle, the light turned green, and it's crazy now that I think about it, is his gut told him not to go. He heard someone yell at him, "Don't go," and stop, and he was like, "What the heck?" He's, like, on a motorcycle with a helmet on. He still goes. Someone ran a red light and hit him, and it's crazy to think that he had the gut feeling not to go, and he was like, "Nope, I'm still gonna do it," right?
mm-hmm.
And that happened, right? So I think everybody experiences this some way, in some way, shape, or form, right? So it's really just trusting it and practicing it.
Yeah. And once something like that happens, I really think like after that, you're just like, you know what? I'm always going to listen to myself. Like, I'm never going to be like, oh, let's just see. Like, I think situations have happened like that to everyone as well, where it's just like, okay, do I very literally less severe than your dad's car accident, but like, I'm like, do I want to go out tonight? Am I trying to, am I trying to pop out? I go outside. Like part of me will be like, no, sit down, like chill. You're
Yeah,
doing too much. I'll go outside, meet the ugliest people. I'll just be like, see, you should have stayed inside. Look at you, stupid. So, so there's that.
exactly. It could work in any situation.
So listen to your intuition. So I think that about wraps this episode up. Do you have any final
Yes.
words of wisdom? At this point, I'm going to call them the words of wisdom from Aileen, because I feel like they're always they're so beautiful at the end. Do you have any words of wisdom from Aileen?
The only thing is, I want to invite everyone to really explore their intuition in whatever way you resonate with. Just try it out and practice it because I feel like it is so beneficial once you get it down and once you start to trust yourself. It's really beautiful, actually. And
Mhm.
it gives you that peace and self confidence that everyone needs.
Beautiful. Well, I mean, I can't end it on a better note. So, thank you all for listening to Concept Wellbeing, the podcast. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, families, whoever, your dog. I don't care. We don't care. But we hope that you have a good day or night. And we also hope that you are well. Bye.
Bye.